Step 3 of thought pattern dissolve is invalidate. Invalidate. Valid, meaning that something is true or applicable. In, meaning not. Invalidate, meaning that it's not valid, it's not true for us, we don't want it, it's not what we want right now. At one point, I thought of calling this step assess. As in, we're gonna judge the thought, and maybe it's relevant and maybe it's not, and then we're gonna choose one or the other, and kind of like a more neutral assessment, like we're stepping back and we're gonna figure things out, and maybe the thought is right, we're just doing our assessment. I went back to how I originally felt about this step. And what originally really resonated for me was invalidate. That to be effective in eliminating the thought category, we need to convince ourselves entirely that this type of thought is not useful and we don't want it. We don't want this type of thought in the context we're in. And for us, and for myself, I have a lot of repetitive thoughts. At some point, those thoughts may have had a basis in reality. The first time I had a thought, maybe about a business partner and how they were acting, there might have been some use to that. Some of that might have been true inspiration. It's a revelation, all right, they're doing something that's not quite right. But then what happens? I keep thinking about it again and again and again and again and again and again and again. Keeps coming back days later, even months later, sometimes even years later, the same types of thoughts. And at a certain point, we have to ask ourselves, do we want that kind of thought, even if it was true the first time? Do we want that kind of thought, or would we actually be better off even without that thought, even if we never had that thought, even if it's not even our awareness? And we took the risk of not taking an action maybe against that business partner, and we weren't protected because we didn't keep that thought running. Eventually, we really have to ask ourselves, do I need this thought now? And sometimes, especially if we're doing creative work in our business, and we have the inspiration or the intuition that we need to get something done, or we need to call a particular person, and we act on that and we do that now, then that's useful. That can be following our intuition. But we need to take a very clear and objective look at most of the thoughts we're having. And if it's a depressive cycle, we need to ask ourselves, is this thought valid now?